you want to make something like this, or maybe this, I don't know. These are some of my games, so those are my qualifications on what I could talk about. If you don't like them, cool. If you do like them, stick around, I guess, I don't know. Making game art is not a process that can be broken down in a 1-minute video, but if you're watching this video, you don't care about that, or you don't have the time, so I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. I'm just going to tell you some of my process, and then I'm going to give you some advice. Cool. Open your 3D modeling application of choice. I always start from a cube or an object with very few faces. From here, simply extrude faces and add edge loops and shift them about till it resembles your object. Keep your geometry simple. You should avoid subdividing your object and focus on maintaining those harsh edges that define its figure. Paint your object in broad strokes. And if you're working from a real reference image, make sure to literally cut corners. Cool, a thing. Kinda bare though, right? What about colors? I make what I call a color sheet or a color palette. Generally, this is a smallish 64x64 sheet with a whole bunch of colors. And then UV unwrap the model, placing the UVs of each face on the color I want that face to be. Bonus tip, if your model's not looking like it just came out of 2005, you can use something like a decimate filter in Blender to mathematically optimize your model by lowering the poly count. And we're basically done. Bonus fun fact, by doing this, all of your objects can use just one material with this texture, thus saving you a lot of draw calls to the GPU. Yum. Okay, what else? Well, from here we can make it stylized by altering the way we shade and light our model. You can take an unlit approach where all faces receive the same amount of light, regardless of the position or the normal of the face. If you do this, we typically want to make sure we color our object in a way that creates the illusion of shading, or else it'll appear entirely flat, but this is also an approach in and of itself. Let's not get this confused with taking a flat shaded approach where all the face's normal is perpendicular to its tangent, making it blocky like this. This gives off more of a lo-fi vibe by not having any fancy shading where the light is smoothly transitioned across the surface of an object. Bonus tip, if you are taking an unlit approach, you can actually use a gradient on your texture and it can look super cool. All these styles are valid and can create for cool vibes, which takes me to the second portion of this video, get creative. When it comes to low poly art, pixel art, and golf, less is more. When making any art of any kind, you're simply trying to convince someone that what they're looking at is a thing. This is not a dinosaur. It looks nothing like a real dinosaur, but you think it's a dinosaur, right? That's art. The biggest problem starting artists have is they overcomplicate their work. I did this. I don't know what this is. It's still art, but it's not as great. If you start to combine low poly art with highly detailed sculpts, you're not going to get something that feels cohesive. It's going to distract you from your great game. Speaking of what feels good, vomit never feels good. Please don't make your color scheme of rainbow vomit. There's tons of study and theory behind colors and what looks good next to each other. I highly suggest you use just a color palette generator or use pre-made color palettes online to get started. And remember, less is more. You can achieve anything with just 2 colors in some cases. Limit yourself to as few colors as you can and only add a color when it's absolutely crucial to convey your vision. Finally, always have purpose, especially if you're breaking the rules. Don't just make something that looks like something you saw that was cool that one time. I mean, it's okay sometimes, but think about why you liked it. What was the reason for lighting the object in that way? Everything in the scene should be able to explain its purpose and reason for existing and how it exists. Otherwise, it's wasting space and distracting from the rest of the scene. For example, in my upcoming game Jelly Brawl, hazardous objects in the scene use an entirely different system of lighting and shading from every other object in the game. This draws your attention to them and makes them stand out when viewing the scene, helping you avoid them. Yes, this breaks the rule I said before about cohesion in a scene, but this is for the exact purpose of breaking cohesion to distract the player. So, get out there, get creative, get thinking. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube or something, go wishlist Jelly Brawl on Steam. Thanks, love you, okay, bye.